You talk about a photo. Tom, how come you don't have a hat on? That's the question. Well, in 1978, the Hobbs family journey began with Paradise Valley United Methodist Church, with my parents, Karen and Bob Hobbs Sr., becoming members. And being a third-generation native of Phoenix myself, I wasn't too far behind, as in 1984, after shortly finishing my confirmation, I was able to join the church as well. And by the way, 1984 was the same time that our wonderful, good-looking young man, Bob Stanley, became our senior pastor here at the church. Now, believe it or not, one of the things I remember most about growing up here in the PVUMC family was not going to Bible study, was not going to the classes, was not going to Sunday school. It was going out and collecting tadpoles in the pools of water of what is now the beautiful biblical garden. You probably find that hard to believe. Another thing I enjoyed doing with my friends is playing hide and go seek. And there were a lot of great places down there, obviously being the garden, but my favorite spot was what? The prayer room. And nobody would find me ever, because who as a kid would ever go in the prayer room? Well, the light certainly shined upon the mountains and continued to shine this during the 80s and 90s as we added lay readers and literists became part of the Sunday morning services. Now, during this same time, membership grew to almost 1,800 people, which is fantastic. And what does that mean? It means it was very hard to come by seats in this beautiful facility. Lots of seats were occupied. It also meant that the Sunday school services were occupied as well. Now, during the same time, we were able to take on a wonderful educational facility and begin to go through a renovation of our fellowship center, which is now the church library. And I will tell you this, those of you who've been here, I've had more spaghetti dinners in that fellowship center that was once there, right? I had a lot of spaghetti dinners there, so bring back some great memories. Well, next came the groundbreaking for what is now known as this beautiful sanctuary we're in today. And I vividly remember Bob Stanley giving the very first leadership or very first service here in front of us all for Christmas Eve. Talk about a spectacular experience for some of us. Well, during this time, mission events were expanded as well, with projects at places like UMOM, the Wesley Community Center, and we began to really reach out to different places of the world and send groups through all out the world with people in need. Well, shortly after my college years, or my days at Arizona State, we had another wonderfully looking young man in Fred Trevino join our church as the senior pastor. And in addition to watching Fred celebrate 5 Christmas services up here, which was a great blessing, I am very proud to say that we were able to have Fred at our presence and our wedding, where he presided over Michelle and I in 1997. It was during these same years that we supported a new church in Fountain Hills and started satellite services in Carefree, which has now become the Desert Mission United Methodist Church. And then as the 20th century came to a close, we brought in another wonderful person, in John Blackwell, who, although had lots of responsibilities, was here to help us shift from a small to what is now a very large and successful church. Well, most certainly, the light upon the mountain has shone brightly.